Your secret is safe with me because my autistic ass zoned out the second you open your mouth. But also, even if I was listening in that moment, the chances that I remember afterwards are kind of 50-50. Either it sticks in my brain and I think it's so boring and so unimportant and I keep questioning why I remembered it, but I remember it, or I just forget it. So if you're willing to take that chances, do tell me secrets. But the chances that I'm either gonna forget them or just not gonna tell anybody because I don't even want to talk to people are very high. So I think you can tell me secrets quite well. Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some neurodivergent memes again because why the hell not? It's Pride Month soon, and I'm not sure if I'm just gonna do queer videos or if I'm also gonna do other videos, but a lot of neurodivergent people are also queer, so I might. But in case I don't, I wanted to do one last one in May. So that's what we're doing today. But you know the deal, before I continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, whatever else you like to drink, and then we'll continue. In the meantime, also feel free to like and subscribe. Do you have your drink? Okay, let's go. I love feeling represented in literature. Reading the DSM-5 right now. Listen, representation is important. And while being represented in the DSM-5 is a start, it's not really a good start. Because seeing yourself represented in a more positive light, because if you read the official DSM-5 criteria for anything really, it always sounds fairly negative. And doesn't really, even if it isn't a trait that is inherently negative, limited interests. It sounds very negative because it's only cares about two things and doesn't care about anything else. It sounds very negative at first, but it is actually also, you can also see it in a positive light, because the things you do care about and the things you are interested in usually will bring you a lot of joy, and you love spending time on these interests. So even if you don't have 10 different things you love or just find everything enjoyable, the things you do enjoy just bring you an immense joy. So maybe finding other literature that represents people like you in a more positive light might be a great next step to reading the DSM-5. I love how coffee tricks me into thinking I'm in a good mood for about 27 minutes. Listen, I always think I don't feel caffeine. I don't feel more awake, I don't feel different, I think. But that's because I usually drink coffee or caffeine every day. I didn't drink caffeine for 1.5 weeks. I cannot tell you. I wasn't that tired, but I was just so unmotivated and unfocused. My ADHD was acting up so badly. Sometimes I don't recognize or I don't notice throughout the day that I have ADHD as much because I'm very used to it. But let me tell you something. I want someone to slap me when I say I'm going without caffeine again. I wanted to do it to see if that's what my tummy is reacting to, and I'm really glad it isn't, but at least coffee doesn't make my tummy upset, right? But I needed to test it to make sure. But the next time I say I'm going without caffeine, I'm really gonna need someone to slap me. Legit, just slap some sense into me, please. I don't ever want to do that again. At the end of the day, don't we all just dream of opening a bookstore that doubles as a bakery and triples as a pet rescue? Yes. But also, no, not everyone. But a lot of people who are here, probably yes. And honestly, pet cafes in general are already a cute idea. But having like a bookstore or like a cafe with pets or like a pet rescue, and then having like shelves and people can like bring their books and exchange them. Like they don't necessarily have to buy books, they can just come there to read them, or like legit also just exchange books. And they're like, well, I finished this book, I don't think I'm going to read it again, so I'm going to bring it and take another book. Like these book phone booths. Honestly, yes. Yes. And if the people in your life aren't supportive of that, I'm afraid you might need some new friends. That was sarcasm, by the way, but still, it's kind of great to have friends who also dream of this. Neurotypicals be like, why do you look so mad? And I'm like, I'm not. And then I remember I'm supposed to be performing happiness like a court jester. What's wrong? I can tell something is wrong, so don't tell me there isn't. And then they ask what's wrong so many times that you're actually legitimately annoyed and start snapping at that person or wanting to snap at that person. Listen. And then they try to like, it's not even just asking what's wrong. Like today at work, I was not in the mood from asking. I was legit too exhausted. I don't actually care that much anymore at my job because like, especially with that one coworker there, he's always exhausting. So I was just like, I had headphones in all day. Officially we're not allowed to, but our team leader like saw no one cares apparently. But this one person, like he always comes up to me to chat and like tries to cheer me up and like tries to tell me things because he thinks I could use the distraction. I'm just like, no, just go away. What about me wearing headphones did you not understand? Like if you have an important work question, sure, right? I'm at work. Like I can't say no to that even if it might annoy me. But why? I don't care about gossip. I don't care that someone told you they're sick. Like I don't care. Just leave me alone. What are you doing? Hey, sorry, I can't come out tonight. I need to research an incredibly specific and random topic alone and in silence for hours on end for no reason at all. Well, there is a reason. There's not really a reason you can explain to people and people recognize it as a reason. But honestly, having I want to, or I feel like I really need to research this thing right now, I think that counts as a reason. A lot of people will be like, well, just do that tomorrow. Like, come hang out. You can do that tomorrow. Like, no. It needs to be right now. And again, having other neurodivergent friends is great because even if they're like a different flavor of neurodivergent, they still are gonna understand that even if it isn't like the same for them. So, you know, having neurodivergent friends is kind of amazing because then you don't have to do with the, oh, but you can just do this tomorrow. Like, come hang out. Like, it'll be so fun. Because, no, in that moment, what seems like fun is researching this one specific but also very random topic that you need to research at the moment. So I think it's really fair. And I think that's reason enough that you want to do it or that you feel like you have to do it, you know? I didn't follow your advice because it was useless and relied on me not having ADHD. Neurotypicals. Are you serious? Like, shout out to my neurologist who legit told me to set an alarm for me to take my ADHD meds, as if I wouldn't turn it off. As if I remember to pack meds into my bag for work. As if I'm not going to be so immensely annoyed at it that I'm going to want to yeet my phone because it distracted me from something because it was ringing. Like, because the alarm was going off. Like, I know like a lot of women who take like the anti-baby pill set an alarm for it because it helps them remember. But I hate alarms. I really do. And just the idea of having an alarm for me to remember to take my meds makes me so incredibly mad. And he thought he was like giving me helpful advice. Like, to be fair, he probably doesn't have ADHD. He probably thought it would actually help, but Shouldn't you know better? Like, haven't you worked with enough ADHD people that you should know better? Well, anyways, I did not in fact set an alarm and I rarely take my meds. But anyways, life update. Currently holding it together with duct tape and sarcasm. Is there any other way to live life? Like, duct tape is useful for a lot of things. And sarcasm is just not as necessary as caffeine maybe, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there, but bonus points if no one ever thinks you're being sarcastic if, like, they don't get it. Or if people constantly think you're joking even though you are actually being that serious in that moment and they think you're being sarcastic when you're not being sarcastic. Well, anyways, sometimes I will do a very simple self-care thing, like putting lotion on my hands before bed and be like, that was so easy, I will do this every day now. And then forget that I even have hands for the next 6 years. Sometimes I think we can't be too mad at neurotypical people for like giving us advice that kind of relies on us not having ADHD. When we kind of do it to ourselves to be like, well, that was so easy. Like, of course I'm gonna do this every day now. Like, of course I'm gonna like be able to stick to this routine. That was so easy. And then just don't. Like, we know it's not gonna work. But also, consistency doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it every day. Like, if you randomly remember to put on lotion like 3 times a week before bed, then that's also kind of consistent. You know, like, consistent doesn't have to mean every day. Because then as soon as you do actually forget one day, you're just very tempted to just like forget about it altogether and then don't remember you have hands. You know, honestly, who cares? Do it when you remember. And also, for people who maybe like struggle with brushing teeth or showering, you don't necessarily have to do these things in the morning or the evening. If you find the energy to shower at like 3 in the afternoon or the energy to brush your teeth at 3 in the afternoon, then do it then. Like, it literally, it doesn't matter. You know, like brushing them in the middle of the day or whenever is better than not brushing them at all and hoping you still have energy in the evening, you know? Just side note, I guess. And the award for Best Actor goes to Mike for pretending to care about Susan's baby photos. But literally, like, that's why I ask. Like, I don't have a baby, obviously, but I only show, like, pictures of my niece or videos of my niece to people I know actually care about babies. Like, if you have moms, like, at work or something, or just people who, you know, find babies adorable or toddlers. But don't just, like, be showing random people. Like, unless I think it's super funny, then I might. But honestly, no, because I know how awkward that is, because I do not care about other people's babies. I really don't. I only care because my niece is legitimately kind of cute. I hate it when I'm talking to myself and I suddenly realize I wasn't listening and have to start all over. This is why I will never be mad at other people for not listening to me. Like, it might be a little bit annoying when people don't listen, but I do it to myself too. And I know they probably didn't mean to, so I'm never that mad. I might pretend to be mad, you know, to make a joke out of it, but I'm actually never mad because I have a hard time listening to myself and to other people, so I can't be mad about it. Man, the way I'm sitting is really unergonomic. I should put my feet down. It's better for the knees. Okay, sits in an ergonomic way. Oh my god, why does the floor feel like that? I want to be a shrimp. Let me shrimp. Feet touching floor, ear-wise, floor, why? But literally, it's just uncomfortable. Like, I will always have at least 1 foot up on the chair right now. You can't see it right now, but I'm always sitting on 1 foot at least. I do the same thing at work. Today I actually just sat crisscross because I couldn't. Like, usually, since I'm very tall, obviously, my chair is high enough so that my feet doesn't even touch the floor, just kind of dangling, but still, no. Sitting ergonomic is no. Just no. I strongly relate to the honey cake's needs. Honey cake. Time 1.5 hours, plus at least 3 hours chilling and 25 hours resting. I never knew I could relate to a cake this much. Damn. Why is cake relatable? That wasn't supposed to happen, actually. Stop bouncing your leg. Bro, it's either this or I start screaming. Your pick. And I'm guessing if you find it like embarrassing if someone's bouncing their leg or it's annoying to you, screaming won't be less annoying or embarrassing to you. So mind your business. You know, like people don't do this because they want to annoy other people. They don't fidget with their pens because they want to annoy other people. Just look somewhere else, really. Like, let people stim and regulate, because being around people or loud spaces or crowded spaces is hard enough without you being a dickhead about them, like, bouncing the leg, you know? A swear jar, but you take out a piece of paper and yell whatever's written on it. I feel like it wouldn't even matter what it says. Like, yelling actual curse words when you're like frustrated or like stumped your toe or whatever. Cathartic, sure, but I feel like just yelling random things would also kind of work. Like just random fruit or random other words or verbs or whatever. Like you could literally write random things on these pieces of paper and it would still kind of be cathartic to yell them. So I'm very here for it, because I feel like swearing is great, but screaming random things would also work. I misspelled I'm unstoppable and my phone autocorrected to I am unstable, and honestly, that's fair. Okay, sometimes autocorrect wants to fight you. Sometimes it just wants to call you out. And it's working, and I feel like your phone knows, so was it really necessary to call us out like this? Maybe not, but it is kind of funny in hindsight. Call me antisocial if you must, but please don't actually call me. Can I print this and like either put it on a t-shirt to wear to work or just like put it as a random sign on my desk or something? Because literally, why are people talking to me? Like, I know they're trying to be social, but why must I be social if I don't want to be social? That's kind of rude. If you can't remember my name, just say chocolate and I'll turn around. Alternatively, if you forgot someone's name, but either know their special interest or kind of have like a feeling of what that special interest might be, just say that, because that will work. That will really work. You know? Because names are weird. And sometimes it feels weird to call other people. Like, I don't ever call people by their names. Like, I don't go up to them and be like, oh, hey Dennis, how are you doing? That seems... No. Like, I just use people's names when I'm like, oh, I'm going to this person's place, right? Then I say their name. I don't think I've ever called people by their name. And also, I think it's weird when people call me by my name. Like, it seems unnecessary somehow. And, like, too personal. Don't drink coffee after 2 p.m. is such a neurotypical issue that sounds made up. Like, such a thing couldn't happen to me, ADHD George, who has coffee past 9:30 p.m. and can still fall asleep freely because I have a natural toxicity resistance to caffeine. Ooh, I can't have coffee so late, otherwise I'll be up all night. Sounds like a skill issue, bro. But literally, this is what I mean. It doesn't matter when I drink coffee. I don't feel more awake. Or I don't feel more hyperactive. It might actually like help people with ADHD fall asleep more easily, because either they don't feel caffeine at all, in which case it doesn't matter, but some people actually like are able to focus better and kind of have like a little bit of a calmer brain. And then if your thoughts are a little calmer, it's gonna be easier to fall asleep, literally. it sounds like a skill issue. But honestly, it's not really neurotypical people's faults that their brains do react strongly to caffeine. It's not really their fault, you know? Don't keep me in the loop anymore. I want to be completely out of the loop, nowhere near the loop. I don't want to even see the loop from here on out. Okay, I feel like if I would print every meme I want to place it at work, no one could even see my desk anymore. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I just need to like build a wall of memes around my desk. Because this, like, listen, don't keep me updated. Like, keep me updated on important work things, but those are the updates that don't come, and then like different departments in the company have like different knowledge, and it's annoying. Like that's when the loop doesn't work. There's no loop around that. But there's loop about the most unnecessary things, and I literally couldn't care less. Exhausted-whelmulated. The feeling of being exhausted, overwhelmed, and overstimulated all at once. If it wasn't such a pain to say, although I feel like if you would say it often enough, it would probably like flow more naturally, but it's kind of hard to say. But I kind of want to use this a lot because that's a state I am unfortunately in a lot somehow. And I managed to be understimulated and overstimulated at the same time. But then I get really cranky because I can't focus like this. I need stimulation. But then the stimulation is too stimulating. And I was like, okay, this song usually works. And then it doesn't work because it's just making me angry in that moment. It's a great feeling. Not. My 3 personalities. Talks too much. Doesn't talk at all. Talks to myself like it's a full-on podcast. How else am I supposed to get stuff done? Like, if I talk to myself or to a camera, like I'm filming a vlog or something right now, and like I'm answering silly random questions while doing the dishes, you know, then I don't have time to think about how much washing dishes just sucks, right? If I'm just like narrating it and answering questions about it and like talking to myself like I'm on camera, I can get things done. Because I'm not thinking about doing the things. Because as soon as I think about doing the things, I'm not doing the things anymore. And I feel like that also doesn't make sense to neurotypical people. But yeah, well, this just works. But also, if someone doesn't want to talk, people are really weird about it. Like if someone can't talk or doesn't want to talk, trying to make them talk is rude, at least. Like if someone really just doesn't feel like talking, it's just rude. If someone legitimately can't talk, which people also don't really recognize as a thing, they just think you're being stubborn or something, then it's just frustrating. Just really frustrating. So, you know, like if you don't want to talk, that's cool. If you can't talk, that's cool. You know, if you find a way to communicate what you need in that moment, like quiet or dark, might be helpful, right? You know, like people have cards or like hoodies, like communication hoodies, which I think is really cute. You know, as long as you can get your point across, who cares if you can talk or not? Really. Anyways, that was all the memes I have for today. These keep calling me out. And the thing is, I keep forgetting what memes I have. So I see the meme, I collect the meme, I feel called out by the meme, I put it in a folder. I film these videos, I get called out again. So I'm doing this to myself several times, and then I edit it, and then I get called out a third time. You know? Because you can bet that by the time I edit this tomorrow, I'm gonna have forgotten like half the memes again. Don't know how that works, but it works. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you feel a little bit called out too, so I'm not the only person being called out like 3 different times. And I hope you're hydrated. If not, maybe consider drinking something now, and I'll be back in a few days with my next video.